See, building a brand requires investment. I'm creating value for myself, but value is in the brand. It's not tangible. At an earlier point in my life, there was points where there's no money in the pocket. Hey, paper पे बहुत सारा है
हाँ
technically, but पैसे pocket में नहीं है. People buy you, let's say a kadhai, which you can see over here. The cheapest ones that we've seen is 200 rupees, and it goes all the way up to 5 and 6,000 rupees. There are customers even buying a kadhai at 15 and 20,000 rupees. Say that, let's say you're starting a business. My target is I want to reach, let's say, 1 lakh rupees of sale a month in 4 months from today.
Hmm.
If in 4 months I'm, let's say, achieving 80,000, not all plans are perfect. Evaluate whether I can continue to do that or not. But if I'm hitting 10 and 15,000, time to cut it, time to move on, time to say that, listen, ये नहीं चल रहा है अभी. Unless you can see some real vision that, okay, now I've tried this or whatever. But when you're doing that for 3 months, then it has to be 100%.
भारत एक बिजनेस कैपिटल बोला जाता है। यहाँ आपको एक छोटे शॉपकीपर से लेके बड़े बिलियनर्स देखने मिलेंगे जिसके अंदर कुछ बिल्ड करने की भूख है। आज के जो हमारे गेस्ट हैं ध्रुव अग्रवाल, उन्होंने डिसाइड करा कि वो उनके फैमिली बिजनेस को एक नई डायरेक्शन और पहचान देंगे और स्टार्ट किया स्टाल, जो भारत में एक लीडिंग कुकवेयर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी है। ये पॉडकास्ट में ध्रुव ने हमको मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडस्ट्री का ओवरव्यू दिया है, कैसे आप एक कॉम्पिटिटिव मार्केट में ब्रांड बिल्ड कर सकते हो, क्या एक ब्रांड बनाना सही में मायने रखता है, एक्चुअली में एक सीईओ का काम क्या होता है अगर आप एक बिजनेस ओनर के लड़के हो, और इफ यू वांट टू स्टार्ट बिजनेस इन नियर फ्यूचर तो आपको ये पॉडकास्ट मिस नहीं करना चाहिए। लेट्स बिगिन 3, 2, 1। वेलकम टू दी हसलर शो, ध्रुव अग्रवाल।
Thank you so much. Yeah.
आई एम वेरी ग्लैड टू हैव यू ऑन माय शो, and I'm just I'm just amazed like how you guys are working at Stahl, and I just wanted to ask you for a like quick introduction of yourself in just 30 seconds if you can do.
Sure.
uh,
Thank you. I'll introduce what we do at Stahl, and I'll introduce what I do as well, or who I am. So at Stahl, we make some of the most premium quality cookware that is possible to make in India, also globally, and we do that in stainless steel. We've been pioneers in a few products. I'm Dhruv. I'm a second generation businessman. I've been born and brought up in Pune, where we are sitting today, and I've studied in Germany, worked with a couple of other companies, came here, and thought that, we're making some of the best cookware for others.
yeah.
Why can we not try and sell that? Why can we not make that in an Indian brand and actually tell and try and create products that work very well for the Indian consumer to start off with, and then of course move to a global level. So that's who we are, that's what we do, and that's who I am, and that's what I do. So the aim is to try and
Crazy.
go mad with creating fun stuff.
Yeah.
Kitchen.
Interesting. Actually, there are like what I have knowledge about it. There are like around 7 lakh plus manufacturer in India.
Okay.
So it's like very competitive market, right? So how did it was your family business, or like you came into picture, like you thought about it, like there is a need for a cookware and I just need to start to give a quality product.
No, so I basically joined a family business. My father is the brainchild behind the manufacturing.
Okay.
I don't understand enough I would not say I don't understand. I understand enough from a manufacturing perspective, but it's being led by my father. I think with any business, you need two kind of people to lead it.
Yeah,
One who is
absolutely.
technical and one who looks at the sales and marketing and the other aspects. So the latter half is me. That being said, manufacturing can be from very simple to very complex. And there are two aspects of manufacturing. I feel one is um, the actual value addition that happens. So how you make a product, and the second is how do you actually scale that? How do you actually create systems to be able to deliver that quality or the kind of product that you want again and again? And where I try and focus in this is my father knows how to make it, and I try and set the system on how to deliver that repeatedly again and again at the same quality. Uh,
Yeah.
that at the end of the day, that is also equally as important as making the product.
Yeah. So आई थिंक there is something इंडिया जहाँ पे लैग कर रहा है आई फील मतलब जितना आई ऑब्जर्व्ड कि हम मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में अच्छे हैं लाइक बट जहाँ पे सेल की बात आती है हमको जो जो भी मतलब 18 19 ईयर्स 20 ईयर्स के जो स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं उनको मतलब ऐसा लगता है यार सेल्स it is not my thing. I just want to do a like very fancy thing in corporate or MNCs. मतलब जहाँ पे मुझे सेल्स नहीं करना है सेल्स लाइक वो थोड़ा डिग्रेड माना जाता है सो आई फील मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में वी आर गुड सिंस लॉन्ग टाइम बट सेल्स में वी नीड टू कीप ऑन like on track. What do you think?
I think sales at the end of the day, like we always ask the question here at our company, who pays your salary and who pays your bill? And it's the customer.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the business owner, it's not the entrepreneur. You're finally creating a value for a customer. And if the customer is not explained that value, it is impossible to run a business. You can then you might as well be creating art.
Yeah.
Even art is a form of creation. But sales, I don't think any one thing is more important than the other. I think it is all, it is a loop. There's sales, there's marketing. People often interchange sales and marketing, but in my view, both are equally as important. Sales is actually making sure that the customer can get the product.
Yeah.
Marketing creates the perception and the need to buy a product. The operations is actually getting the product to the channel. There is the product design and product development that actually talks to sales and marketing, gets the need and creates something for the need. And then of course there is the entire finance, admin, legal, everything else that is behind it. So if anybody tells me one is more important than the other, it's a balance. It's a very fine balance. And as a entrepreneur, as a business owner, you have to be able to jump into whichever part is lagging at whatever point and bring it up equally.
Yeah. So is it something मतलब अगर आपका प्रोडक्ट अच्छा नहीं है बट यू आर गुड एट मार्केटिंग सो इज देयर एनी चांसेस टू विन द गेम
I don't think you can win the game with anything lagging. It has to be balanced.
Okay.
So a lot of people, I personally feel a lot of people oversell a product and then the product does not meet expectations. It's better to undersell the product. You'll find the customer at every price point. हम लोग बर्तन बेचते हैं आपको ये दिख रहे हैं यहाँ पे. These are expensive. People buy you. Let's say a kadhai which you can see over here. The cheapest ones that we've seen is 200 rupees, and it goes all the way up to 5 and 6,000 rupees. There are customers even buying a kadhai at 15 and 20,000 rupees. You have brands like Le Creuset who are selling one piece at 15,000, 18,000 rupees. And you have some really cheap stuff on the roadside which you can buy at 100 and 200 rupees. There's a customer for everything. Now, if I sell a 100 rupee product saying that it is going to give me the same delivery as a 3,000 rupee product, मैं एक बार खरीदूंगा और उसके बाद expectation जब meet नहीं होती है, then I'm not going to tell 5 others कि listen, this is really good.
Yeah.
But if I say that it's a 200 rupee product and I make it like a 200 rupee product, I will find value in it and I will tell 5 others ये सस्ते में अच्छा है या ये महंगे में अच्छा है. So if you sell a bad product really well, I don't think it'll work. If you undersell a good product, that will also not work. So it has to, I feel there's an expectation that you have to create, you have to fulfill a need. Needs are, I mean, you all have, I'm sure, studied at some point your Maslow's hierarchy of needs. There are many, many different levels at it. Different people are at different places. It applies to selling.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm selling to somebody who's earning 10,000 rupees a month, I can't sell him a 5,000 or 8,000 or a 10,000 rupee kadhai as easily unless there is some tremendous value that that person has. So, from my perspective, it boils down to finding out who your customer is, what they want, and then telling the right story and making the right product.
Yeah. So you mentioned that there are products like this available at 200 rupees and also available.
I mean, not like this. I'm talking about a kadhai.
Yeah, kadhai.
Utility.
Yeah, kadhai.
Yeah.
I'm telling in general
Yeah.
that 200 का भी product market में है.
Yeah.
There are products like 18,000
Yeah.
जो market में है.
Yeah.
But if I'm starting business, so how to जैसे मुझे पता लगे कि यार ये जगह पे मुझे नीड है और मुझे इस जगह पे ये कस्टमर्स को मुझे सर्व करना है. सो हाउ डिड यू फाइंड इट? मतलब
So I personally feel that a lot of the need comes from your own personal needs. See, you have to be able to sell, which means you have to be able to convince others of a value.
राइट.
Okay, now if I'm a person who subscribe to buying a lower than average, I say that I don't want a great product. मेरे को नहीं फर्क पड़ता है. I will buy something सस्ता. जब फेंकना है फेंकूंगा. That is what I should end up creating. I personally love good stuff. I love buying something once and keeping it for a long time.
Right.
So my approach towards any product, if I try and create something really sasta, I will not want to own that myself. If I don't want to own it, how do I sell it?
Right.
That's my perception in it. There's a need, like I said, for every level, but I feel very often in the business, you have to kind of convince yourself of the product. You have to stand behind your product. Otherwise, it seems disingenuine and it seems ingenuine. And that to me is the worst thing you can do, lose genuinity.
Okay.
So,
Well,
yeah.
I just adding what you're saying that you said like building a brand, basically what you are saying, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And like there are so many people who want to make money. Like मुझे ब्रांड से फर्क नहीं पड़ता. मुझे अभी सिर्फ मैं ये प्रोडक्ट बेच के आई एम अर्निंग दिस मच मनी. So what do you think? Money building or brand building? Like what is the long term and what's your take?
That's a very personal choice.
Okay.
See, building a brand requires investment.
Yeah.
I'm creating value for myself, but value is in the brand. It's not tangible. At an earlier point in my life, there was points where there's no money in the pocket. है पेपर पे बहुत सारा है technically, but पैसे pocket में नहीं है. Now, if you are okay to deal with that, then it makes sense. But there are a lot of people जिनके लिए वो नहीं है. You know, they are looking कि I have 100 rupees. How can I make 110 rupees out of that in the next month?
Right.
They will get into trading. So there are different ways of approaching a business, and it depends a lot on what you want personally out of life.
Okay.
It depends a lot on what you want personally. There are people who will do, let's say, very low tech, very high turnover businesses where for them the only thing is that I'm running a business and I'm making money. There are people who want to be perceived as brand owners. It takes investment. It very often you will fail. There are people who don't have the capacity to do both but want to do a basic business. They will, you have people right from let's say even you have chaiwalas on the road, you will have people who are very particular about how they make something, even to the extent if they lose money. And you'll have somebody, आज एक चम्मच डाल दिया चीनी का, 2 चम्मच डाल दिया, परसों 3 चम्मच डाल दिया, वापस. It doesn't matter to them. And at the end of the day, there's a market for both. To me, personally, one of the reasons that I've wanted to try and create a brand is to get a consistency in what we do. A brand, in my view, stands for values. It's not a logo, or it's not it's not the optics. There are associations that come with a brand.
Right.
And in order to create a brand, you have to live those values across the entire value chain. When I say value chain, right from what suppliers you choose, to what distributors or partners you choose, to how you function, to how you keep your things, everything then matters.
It should be that standard.
You have to live with a certain value system. I'll give an example. I went recently to Mercedes for a factory visit. And you can go to 5 different places for a factory visit. The kind of food that they serve, the kind of experience that they create, Their belief is simple: whether you buy a Mercedes or you don't, we have to deliver this at a minimum. They don't look at it whether you're a customer, potential customer, or not. And they believe everyone is a potential customer. But they say that, listen, we will cater food from the Taj. We will give you XYZ experience. This is our safety norm. That whether you can afford it, whether you can't, whether you're male, whether you're female, whether you're poor, whether you're rich, if you go to a brand like that, that is what you will get. Whether you go to their showroom, how they decide their partners, the kind of tools that they have in their service center, it's standard. Now, the same thing if you go to, let's say, Hyundai, it's a different experience. It's
Yeah.
not better or worse.
It is
It's
just.
catering to a different need.
Hmm.
It's catering to a different need. I love, honestly, I love the fact my wife has a Hyundai car, and it's amazing how fast they service it. Versus if you go to a Mercedes, they'll take the car in and it'll be there for a week, week and a half. That being said, there is a value in this and there is a value in this, but across the experience of your touch points, uh, it's like this. If you say you're a supplier to Hyundai versus you're a supplier to Mercedes, you will naturally get more credibility because
Right.
people believe that the value chain will be there. So in manufacturing or in any industry, if you're creating a brand, you have to have a consistency of how you do things. That's my belief in this. At least.
It should be repeated. And
Repetitive.
yeah.
It has to be repetitive.
Yeah. So, was there anything you think like is this compulsory to build, like what it takes to build a cookware brand? Like, because it is very competitive market, right? Competitive market. Like there are so many who are trying to build brand in this industry. So, what do you think? What it takes?
I think to build, whether it's cookware, whether it's anything, to create a name for yourself, you have to find a niche. You have to find a small area of need that nobody else is addressing, where people will rally behind you. A lot of these solutions are very simple. You will think कि अरे मैंने इसके बारे में पहले सोचा क्यों नहीं. पर you need to find that small little need. Like for us in creating Stahl brand, we tried with stainless steel cookware that others were making, etc. But finally, what happened was we came across this material called triply, stainless steel, aluminum, stainless steel bonded together. And we were able to figure that this creates a great cooking experience. Let us try and launch this in the Indian market.
Okay.
And then you put your heart and soul behind it. When we launched it, the kadai that we used to sell before that was 800 rupees a piece. We launched this at about 3,200 rupees a piece.
Okay.
And the first dealer meet that we went to, we decided to do a roadshow because when you're taking something to 4x,
Yeah.
you need to tell people why they need to be able to sell it. When we went on our roadshow, one of the first questions we got is, "Ye kharidega kaun?"
Right.
But then you have to have the conviction where we told the people, "Aap becho, agar wapas aaya na, I'm standing here, we will take it back from you." But then that is also how that has to happen is then you have to know that this product will live up to a 3,200 rupee
Right.
expectation. When somebody is paying 4x, that the product will work that well. And that comes from a little bit of trying, testing, but also from understanding that the kadai, the way the kadai functions, there is no solution for that in the Indian market. Logo ko, they want steel, but they want the heat to spread. They want the strength. They want the durability. So we figured out that these things are required. We put together a product,
Okay.
and then after that you have to convince them.
But the main task is to convince the vendor, मतलब जो भी distributor
The
है.
main task is to understand what your consumer needs. The main task is to understand that are there enough people like you who think that this is valuable enough to buy, and then at what price they will, how much of a pain point it is that they are willing to spend. That to me is where the main task is. It's the dealer or your distributor is an intermediary. उसको आप दो और बोलो 5 बार बेचो. If he's able to sell it and the customer doesn't come back and throw it on his face, he'll sell 2 more. He's there to make money.
But whoever is selling on 800 rupees product, to same customer, and how they can sell 3,200 customer through
So
rupees product.
there are some people who will get convinced by seeing the technology, by understanding. If there are 100 dealers, 5 may get convinced. But then once those 5 start, once they start seeing traction, consumers start talking. You buy it, you come and tell me, Dhruv, that's fantastic. You go and buy it. You buy it from A, and I typically buy from B. I'll go to B and say, listen, I heard about this. Do you have it?
Yeah.
When 3 people, that is when that guy B will say, Arey, listen, A has that. Where has he got it from? He'll go and find it.
Got it.
So that happens. That happens. But, and then if you have the money to market, like we didn't start off with marketing, we got into marketing very late, unfortunately. But your word of mouth is the main thing.
Yeah, like there are so many, like 90% small business are running on that only, I feel.
Yeah.
Like whoever is running traditionally, they only depend on word of
But what happens is beyond the point, if something starts doing very well, nothing in this world cannot be copied.
Hmm.
In the sense, you look at the latest, you have Airbus, you have Boeing. Boeing has a 737, Airbus has the A320 or the A321. Now China has come out now with the C919 jet. They've managed to figure out that they are making it a lot cheaper than Boeing in this thing, and it's a perfectly good jet. The way it's been flown, the reviews that it's got, it's a perfectly good jet. They made it cheaper. That being said, the marketing that Airbus and Boeing have done, I don't think I will as easily want a Chinese jet today. And not because it's Chinese, but it's a new company.
Right.
It's my life, it's my safety that I'm worried about. So, what I mean by this is that if you don't market enough, you don't market enough when you are within, when you've started getting something good, somebody bigger will come, copy it, and take your market share.
Yeah, there is brand comes
Yeah.
in the
So
picture.
you can find a blue ocean, but it'll become a red ocean very soon. My view is that multitasking can be counterproductive. There has to be a very, very high level of focus on what you do. When I started working, when I joined the business, I was also running another business called Mind Mechanics.
Yeah.
I was doing, which is the memory enhancement where I would take courses. I was doing part-time work with a investment firm on the real estate because I'd worked with a real estate company before I left. I was also trying to study. And I was frustrated. None of these were growing because if I have 100 rupees to put in, also, do I put it in this business? Do I put it in the real estate business? Do I put it in the mind mechanics business? Finally, there was a conversation that I had with one of my mentors, and he's like, and my grandfather both, they said, cut the clutter. Decide one thing that you can scale that you're semi passionate about. Passion will come, but you're semi passionate about. The day we did that, the day I did that, it just changed the way that the growth happened after that. So my suggestion to anyone is if you're doing something, you can do 5 things. Try one thing, give it your best. Nahi chal raha hai na, say that this is my cutoff point. Say that, let's say you're starting a business. You've got, my target is I want to reach, let's say, 1 lakh rupees of sale a month in 4 months from today. If in 4 months I'm, let's say, achieving 80,000, not all plans are perfect. Evaluate whether I can continue to do that or not. But if I'm hitting 10 and 15,000, time to cut it. Time to move on. Time to say that, listen, ye nahi chal raha hai abhi. Unless you can see some real vision that, okay, now I've tried this or whatever. But when you're doing that for 3 months, then it has to be 100%. Then it can't be that, but I was also doing a computer class. I was also doing my MBA. Because then you'll never be convinced whether that 10,000 rupees was not because of the lack of opportunity or because you were doing something else. You'll always feel, ye acha tha, but main wo kar raha tha, uske wajah se ye nahi hua. Better hai, ascertain karo, aage chalo. Right. So is like how after like how many days or how many months you realize this that 1.5 years. Long enough. Okay. Somewhere I feel that I wasted a lot of my 20s in just doing a lot of time pass, but it was necessary. Yeah, it was also necessary to explore. I sometimes really wish I'd become a lot more focused a lot younger in life. Hindsight is 2020. Yeah. No, but also when we look at product today, what it's taught me, we have a lot of dealers and distributors telling us that we're making this stainless steel cookware. Make this cookware. Why don't you get into spoons and forks and knives? Why don't you get into this? Why don't you get into that? Boss, if I start doing everything, how do I become a master in one? I'll do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of a third thing. You can't get in. There are hundreds of others. There are huge companies doing that. I can't compete with them on marketing budgets. So
Yeah,
I need to do one thing that just gets me
master.
reputation. You know the company TTK Prestige?
Nope.
No. Okay. Do you know Hawkins?
Yeah,
What are they famous for?
like for the folks and all.
So they're famous for their pressure cookers.
Okay.
Anybody who is in the cookware space will talk about Hawkins or Prestige being famous for their pressure cookers. Prestige's business is 1/5 is pressure cookers, but they'll still be known primarily for their pressure cooking. So you always get known for one limited thing, and in the others, uh, you'll you'll always be a me too. But at a certain scale, you have to do that also.
Yeah.
When you're starting off, you can focus. कितना पैसा चाहिए या कितना सेल चाहिए.
Right. So I'm, if I'm not wrong, like as a CEO, you have so many things to do, right? Like in a day, there are so many tasks you have to complete. So how do you prioritize your task? Like, is it still struggling, or like you have something to in your mind to prioritize, or like what?
So about once a month, I have a system. I call it, looking at the boulders, my obstacle system, where I actually for a month, at the beginning of the month, I see what is the biggest thing that is stopping me from growth. It could be marketing. I don't have a partner, or I don't have a human resource, or I don't have, my production is not coming up to meet the customer requirements, or I'm not being able to do enough sales, and that becomes evident. It becomes very, very evident. You can start seeing a trend happening 2 or 3 months before when you've been in the business long enough. But we actually do a physical. I actually write down all my issues. So about 20, 25, 30 issues. I don't have let's say I don't have online sales team.
Yeah.
I don't have, we are not being able to fulfill customer orders. I need to install robots in the factory, A, B, C, X, Y, Z. Then I actually sit down and say that if I don't do this, what is the impact? If I don't do this, what is the impact? If I don't do this, what is the impact? Can this wait? And I see, can I actually delegate this off to somebody else?
Right.
So do I really need to get into the integration of the robots, or are they experts? It'll cost me a little bit of money, but do I really need to apply my mind on it? I need to take some decisions, but do I need to apply my mind on it? So I will figure out what is that one biggest thing and spend 70 to 80% of my time solving that.
Yeah.
And the balance 20-30% solving day-to-day issues that come up. And then I'm lucky. I have a fantastic team that is able to solve a lot of things.
Yeah.
They don't need me. I'm a bottleneck. So as long as you have a really, really good team,
Yeah.
you're okay. But there's only one big issue. There's always one biggest issue. The aim is, how do you identify that? And you have to be disciplined to sit down and actually write down all your issues and say that this is going to take this much time to solve. This is how much time I have.
Yeah. You have to be very honest with
Be honest with yourself.
Absolutely.
There are some really, if I may use the term, sexy issues to solve, and there are some very basic and mundane issues to solve.
Right.
You always want to do, and I love, there are issues, let's say in sales. I need to set an international sales department. I would love to travel abroad, find the distributors, do everything myself. It's you tell your friend, "Arey, main idhar ja raha hai, udhar ja raha hai," all of that. But there's also the problem that the shop floor is not supplying. Now, is it better to hire somebody to do the international sales and sit on the shop floor? I want to travel. Why should I pay for somebody else to travel? But that is where you have to take the hard decision and say, listen, there's somebody more capable than me, or I can find somebody to solve that. I can't solve this.
Right.
I can't find somebody to solve this. I need to solve this. Let somebody else travel. So, it's
just identification. You just need to be right.
You have to be able to sacrifice your your wants to what the business needs. I feel that is important.
Your wants to
What the business needs.
what business needs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Business has a need. It's its own baby. It's like when you're a parent. You're not a parent yet, but you want to go out partying and your baby is crying.
Yeah.
Right?
You cannot.
You want to go partying, but you need to be with your baby.
Right.
So it is, you need to change the diaper or whatever it is, and then figure out, so it's the same.
Yeah. So just this light two question. Like you take what's your are you taking a day offs or what? Like you, what's your like, because there are so many businessmen. I like my father only. They will he's very against of day off. Like I cannot afford any day off in my life because it's like 24/7 in my mind. I'm thinking about my business and I cannot afford the single day off. So what do you do? Like you are taking day offs or like on day offs you have something another plan?
No, so for me, it depends upon the need of the business. I believe that it is very necessary to take day offs, and for yourself, for others as well. That being said, I think as a business owner, your mind doesn't stop working. Even if you're on a day off, something will trigger a
Yeah.
thought and you'll get into that. For me personally, the first 3 or 4 years, I didn't take a day off. And it's a simple thing. The quantum of time that you put in is the quantum of output that you get. But taking a day off sometimes allows you to look away from the day to day, which is actually slow, and look forward. You know, so you should be able to see 3 and 6 months ahead and 1 year ahead.
Right.
So unless you're very conscious about being able to do that in normal time, your day off actually allows you to do that. So for me, I love my Sunday off. I love doing sports. So I'll either go hiking, windsurfing, catch up with friends to do that. Um, I make sure that every morning, without fail, I do sports of some kind, do some form of activity that is required for my enjoyment. I'll go out with friends, but I'm switched on when I need to. Like we had an incident in the factory 6 months ago that required me to be here 7 days a week for the last 6 months, and I've been here 7 days a week for the last 6 months till it's
Okay.
back on track. So, and
Whatever
there
it
are times
needs.
when you're required 2 or 3 days in the month, or 2 or 3 days in the week, and you'll know when that is there. You'll know when things are running, and you can't make things run any faster.
Yeah.
And relax, yeah. You have to pace yourself.
Yeah.
You have to figure out your own energy, and sometimes just manage your energy.
Yeah. One booming industry
One booming industry,
except
yeah, cookware is not that booming. I wish I knew. I really wish I knew. I think, according to me, there is going to be a lot of opportunities in both fintech and in biotech. I truly think that biosciences, biotech, health, in general, that has a lot that is going to happen in terms of, whether it is equipment, whether it is.
yeah, it's like ultra human yours.
I'm not talking about even ultra human. I'm talking about the improving our own capabilities,
Okay.
improving our health, nanoscience, etc. I think there is a lot of potential. I wish I understood it, but I think there is a lot. And I think anybody who's working at, basically, if you're working at uh, improving how things are done in everything. I have to cook. मेरे को अगर if it takes 20 minutes to cook dal in the morning and I can bring that down to 10 minutes now, I'll find customers. If it requires 15 minutes of my attention to cook in the morning and I'm able to cut that down to pressing a button, I
Yeah.
will find customers. So if you ask me any industry, if you're able to figure out how to save time or reduce effort, you will have customers. As simple as that.
Yeah.
Uh, so if you think, and another thing that is important is how many people can be affected by your industry.
Hmm.
So, if, for example, I am making latex gloves for hospitals, for surgeons who can only cut inside, who are doing invasive surgery, my market is very limited. If I am doing that being said, maybe I can charge a premium for it. Maybe that's a business that I can do. If I'm making shoes, which let's say Nike or someone's doing, everybody is my customer. So that is another evaluation, size of industry. But I don't think those should be considerations when you get in. I think what you need to do is find a small niche.
Okay.
Find a small area where somebody has a problem. And if you see 5 people asking the same question, you'll know कि उधर problem है. उसको solve करो. धंधा बढ़ेगा.
Done. You mentioned booming industry and slumping industry too. So one slumping industry you want to mention?
I'm trying to think of a slumping industry. Petrol cars are a slumping industry. Yeah. To me, another area, any industry which is very dependent upon human work, will slump slowly. So, for example, today with the advent of 3D printing, is jewelry making? You're in the jewelry making industry.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a change? Is there going to be a slump in
How jewelry
is made? So I'm talking about that as an industry. I'm not talking about the need for jewelry, but the way it is made. Is that a potential slumping industry? And are you thinking far ahead or ahead enough to see that am I at the latest in terms of technology and in terms of how it is made, that I'll stay ahead of the curve? I give another question in that. You're making jewelry and you're having pre-made pieces. Do you have the ability to create a piece online and have a person actually have the ability to 3D print it for a customer uniquely? Is that something that is a potential that is there? Tomorrow, the ability to mix and match. So anywhere which is highly labor intensive, in my view, is slumping. Anything that you can actually move towards bringing down people's time or reducing labor is potentially generated. That's how I approach things. So our cookware, in its own way, helped reduce time. But we are now looking at what next. How can we actually, if somebody is pressure cooking, how do we actually allow them to make a dal or potatoes by just pressing a button and forgetting about it, rather than sitting and counting whistles?
Yeah.
So
that is this real struggle.
Yeah. So there are solutions, but how do we make it relevant to our consumer? So those are questions that are there.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Yeah. My absolute pleasure. It was really interesting. I love talking to you.
Yeah, like it was like a small crash course I got about building a business. Actually, honestly, I learned a lot personally also, and I'll also need I'll think about the questions which you asked about jewelry.
Yeah, you must.
Yeah,
you must. How can you create that differentiation? How are you not the next jeweler on the block? Trust and all is there, but how do you actually go and acquire today's 20-year-old who is not willing to necessarily trust who their mothers or their fathers have been using for many years? Want something different.
Yeah.
So what are you doing there?
Great. I'll surely. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching this podcast till the end. अगर आपको ये podcast से कुछ भी सीखने को मिला, then let us know in the comment section कि आपको वो कौन सी एक चीज आपको interesting लगी. And अगर कुछ आपको off लगा, feel free to give us a feedback so we can improve it and serve you a valuable content. See you in the next episode.